Hey, badass business owner, have you heard the saying, the customer is always right? Well, guess what? No, they're not. The customer is not always right. Now, I get why it's in place, and it's in place so that you slow down and find out, did you mess something up and do you need to fix it? But guess what? There are other times where the opposite is true. You need to say bye to that customer, and you need to let them go. You need to fire them. You need to 86 them. You need to get them out of your life. And today I want to talk about this because there is a time and a place for you to fire a customer, for you to let them go. And I'm going to tell you, the best time to fire them is when they're costing you time and they're costing you money. Here's the thing. We make mistakes. We all make mistakes. It's about what you do with those mistakes. So there's times when you need to go out and you absolutely need to fix whatever it is that you mucked up. If it's something outside of your control, you need to apologize and you need to explain what's going on. But every once in a while, there is a customer or a client, whatever you call yours, that just will not stop. It doesn't matter how good you do it. It's never going to be good enough. It could be that something that should be taking a half hour is now taking 3 hours, or maybe it's an hour thing and it takes like 5, or maybe you do a weekly service with them and it always seems to drag out and you always seem to have complaints and problems. When you find that a customer just is never going to be satisfied, your best thing to do is to finalize the thing that you're on, and then you need to say bye-bye. And you need to say, hey, you know what? I'm thinking that we might have not a good fit here. I'm probably not the person that you want to deal with. More than likely, it's probably them. And in some cases, they might beg you to stay because they know that everybody fires them or they've had lots of problems. So you're going to have to cross that bridge based off of your relationship with this person. But in most cases, you don't need them in your life, because if that customer is taking 2 to 3 to 4 times as long as they should, that means you could have replaced them with 2 or 3 other customers or clients and made more money in the end. Because in a lot of cases, you're not profitable on jobs with those types of customers because they are taking time. So your labor costs are going up. A lot of times they want something redone 2 or 3 times. Well, now your waste has gone up and your supplies and your ingredients or your materials or whatever also goes up. So you're just not making any money with them. And it's important that you learn to let go. And I get it. You need the top line dollars. But what you're forgetting is this isn't a sales game. This is a profit game. I talk about this all the time. If that customer is not leading to profit, it doesn't matter if they pay you $1 million or, $1,000 to be more realistic for most of you. It doesn't matter, because if there's no money at the end of the day after you pay for everything, then it's just not worth it for you to be helping them. And unfortunately, there are people out there that this is the case. You need to let them go. You need to say bye-bye. Was it the Backstreet Boys? I forget who did that song. Bye. Yeah, I think it is. But anyways, you know what I mean. They need to go away. Another time that you might have to let a customer go is if it is above your abilities to be able to help them. Maybe they are 100% correct. And maybe you took the job thinking you could do it, and it turns out that you're the worst for it. Handyman, I'm talking to some of you. You'll agree to put a floor in, and you are horrible at it because you've never done it before. Did you tell the customer up front that this is your first attempt at doing a floor? Yeah, laying the middle is the easy part. Doing the trim and the edges and everything else and getting that floor just right, that's where you start making mistakes. Same thing when you're tiling. If you don't get those grout lines right, it starts to show your inexperience in whatever it is that you're doing. So it's really important you're honest and upfront when you've never done something before. But 2, if you're not the right person, you need to say, hey, you know what? Let me get someone else in here. You pay for it. It's not their fault you took on a job you shouldn't have taken on, but you do need to figure out how can you make that right. And then you need to say, you know what? I need to let this client go, this customer go, because I'm not the right person for them. So sometimes our own particular skill level is a great reason for us no longer to help somebody. All right, there is a third reason that you might be firing some customers. And the reality is you might be firing them accidentally, but it's definitely needed. And that is your prices are all wrong. And I've done another video on it. I'll try to put the link up here or at least in the show notes. But here's where things happen. A lot of times your pricing is wrong and you bring people aboard, especially if they're returning customers or they're on a, weekly, monthly type of service. And turns out that you are priced $20, $30 below where you should be. Well, you're bringing in new people at the new price, but you have these older people that have been on the low price. But here comes the tipping point. I understand that you don't want to change their prices. They've got a great deal and you don't want to lose them. But here's the problem. If you're not making any money on that, once again, profit versus sales. And the reality is, you can be doing the sales, but if they're not profitable and you're not making any money, you need to either raise those prices. And I get you may lose some, but the video that I'll reference to you guys is where I show you that you can lose 20, 30% of your customers and still make more money because one, your profits go up, which offset the profit that you thought you were losing, which you really weren't. You were losing sales, not profit, because they weren't making you any money anyways. And then two, you make even more profit when you replace them with the new people. And there's a whole video for it. I'll make sure it's at the end or in the show notes or something like that. But a lot of times we need to fire these customers or let them go because if they're only using you because of how cheap you are, they're not customers you want anyways. Because if somebody really values the service that you provide, they're going to go along with those price changes. That's why it's important that you pass them along. That doesn't necessarily mean that if you jump your price difference is $30 that you jump them $30, but maybe you come back for $10 and then you let them know that it'll change again in a year. And once again, if they love you and they love what you provide and they see the value in it, they're going to come along. Way too many of you are keeping your prices too low when it comes to some existing customers. And if they're not profitable just because materials have gone up and time, labor, and all that other good stuff, you can't keep them like that because at the end of the day, it's a profit game. Don't forget that. Yes, you want sales, but you need the profits to be there. So it's really important. So at the end of the day, there's all kinds of reasons why you need to let some customers go. And it's okay. We need to do that in our business. We need to purge. Every once in a while, there could be all kinds of reasons why you're doing it. The three we've talked about today are probably the most common reason why you're doing it. If you have a problem customer or client, you need to let them go. If they are costing you time and they are costing you money, you need to say goodbye. If you have customers or clients that are not profitable, that you're just not making any money, you need to let them go. Okay, problem children, people that just don't pay right, or the third reason that we covered is the fact that you don't know what the heck you're doing and you're getting yourself in too deep and it's costing you way too much money and you're the wrong person for the job. So don't forget that one as well, because sometimes we do that in our business because we try to take on every job we can and we're not necessarily the best person for them. So there could be all kinds of reasons that you might let go of a customer. But please, whatever you do, do not hesitate to do that if it's the right thing for your business, especially if it is costing you profits. It is a must do. And if you want to watch that video on losing customers and how you can make more money, I'll put that over here and I'll talk to you next time. Bye for now.